All right. Well, thank you for evaluating, whether you're in this meeting or you're listening to this later. I will do my best to have a very expeditious run through our scoring system. This is what I ran all our evaluators through. Most of them are volunteer coaches, and it's a lot about our philosophy, and it's a lot about how we want this to feel for our athletes. I think for those of you helping us out just for a short amount of time, I'll skip right ahead to the scoring system. So as far as our objectives, consistent, fair, and accurate, and impartial. External evaluators, thank you. You help us the most with that. So we really appreciate this. For those of you evaluating U14, you are 70% of the athlete's final score. The UAA makes up 30%. And then how this all works, we strive for 6 evaluators per skate, and we do 3 skates. And we put every athlete on 2 clipboards, so that way they get 6 total scores, 2 from each evaluator in each skate. And we do that to try to take the burden away from evaluators, so that we know this can bring up a lot of nerves. You just want to do right by the kids. If you either see something a little higher than the athlete, or maybe see something a little less than where the athlete is, it all tends to smooth out over the course of 6 scores across 3 different skates. At the U16, U19 levels, no UAAs, it's 100% based on this scoring. Our gameplay objectives, so when you're watching the athletes, we really stress watch the athletes and score them relative to their skill level, because sometimes we'll have 2 skate groups, which means the first one might be our not quite as talented athletes. So a high score in that skate group is okay, because they're being judged against those athletes. And then when the faster kids come out, you might notice they're a lot faster than the ones you just watched. You're scoring them against that group. We have something we call an adjustment factor that factors in if you did well in an earlier skate group or you did well in the top skate group. What we want from you is just look at the kids and how they're performing on the ice against the peers they're against. We've got a scoring system between 1 and 10 that we'll go through, and there's sections on our sheets for comments. It just really helps us, especially if a parent's really struggling with why their athlete isn't quite where they want to see them land. We can offer, we noticed some feedback was to make better passes, or to have their head up going through the neutral zone, or they've got a really good shot, but we noticed their stabbing was behind. You're not accountable to write a dictionary, but if all 6 evaluators put just a few notes, it helps us offer a story should an athlete or their parent request why. To prepare, we just ask everyone takes the process seriously. The stakes are very high for many of these athletes and their parents. Go over, and I'll send out a copy of this afterwards, just all our little sheets and criteria to prepare. Come up with a strategy and lean on those around you. A lot of people like making little checks or X's or making little notes, all just to help you arrive at the score you decide to land on. And as you can see, we stress the scoring is relative to the athletes on that ice time. So this is what the score sheet looks like. So when you show up, our division directors will have assigned the athletes they'd like you to watch ahead of time, and it'll be red 10, red 11, black 4, black 5. We've got 6 for the skates that you all are evaluating for, or at least we're close to that. So hopefully that means you've got maybe 7 or 8 athletes. It gets hard when you get up over 10, but that's why we like to get as many athletes as possible. For the U16, U19, it will also denote their position. At U14 and under, they rotate positions throughout the skates. At the top, we ask that you write the session number. A lot of times your division director will already do that. And then your name, just in case we can't read a score or just have a question afterwards, just note your name and we'll reach out to you. Okay, so our asks is to please arrive 15 minutes early, just so nobody's rushing in. The division directors at the check-in will have what you need: pencils, scoring sheets, clipboards. Collaborate with the other evaluators. We do encourage you to sit together. We just don't like you to agree on the score of an athlete. We want to avoid groupthink. We want your independent score, because one other evaluator will have every athlete on your list. What we do encourage is, if you're just not able to pick a kid, you just haven't seen the moments, you have, maybe ask an open-ended question like, hey, what did you see from yellow 10? But just get their input, not, hey, I had a 7, You also, okay, we're both 7s, good. Like that's what we're trying to avoid. This is more for our volunteers. We just encourage no conversations or long ones with the parents. Parents sometimes start telling themselves a story. Oh, that parent's angling that evaluator to look for their kid. Nope, we'll just smiles and off to the stands you go. We've got the 2 categories. One is skills and one is game sense. So we want, and we've got some sheets on. We're looking for passing, we're looking for skating, we're looking for stabbing, etc. on the skills. And then help us with, hey, they know how to get open in the neutral zone. They really form a good triangle. They know how to push out at a good level under the game sense. We just talked about that, skills and gameplay. We also, especially in 16 and 19, where players evaluate or identify as defense, really look for both offense and defense. Sometimes, whether it's evaluators or players, they're looking for that top corner wrist shot to stand out. We really value good back checking, good triangle push outs, etc. We're so excited. A lot of our evaluators that are helping from outside, you play the game at a high level, so you know what to look for. For U14, U12, the UAA score does acknowledge how fast they are. So look for skating, just don't make everything about skating. Try to look for the skills beyond just how fast they can move. Ditto for, and I don't want to say punish, but just if there's ring hogs, always trying to score, never making a pass, maybe look for that on game sense. Likewise, almost celebrate the kids that pass up a shot to make a good cross crease pass. We know in evaluations, everybody's trying to make themselves look better, and we value kids that make the passes. So this is our scoring, and you'll notice we've got the 1s and 10s noted as significantly above or below. We don't get a ton of those in because it really is exceptional. We're looking for when an athlete really stands out or really stands out that they're maybe just a brand new skater and not able to keep up. Most of our scores start showing up around 3, 4, and at the high end 8, 9. And then in the middle, because we appreciate a lot of times you don't see big separation in the middle group, just help us with the 5, 6, and 7s. That's our average score. And sometimes you might have a bit of an over-talented slate or a slightly under-talented slate, but I would say you're looking for roughly an average of 6 if you feel your athletes are an average representation of what you see out there. I know I made a mistake my first year, just not paying attention enough, thinking 5 was the average, but just 6 is kind of the average of our system. We'll have these sheets sent out. Many of you know the game well, but just if you're looking for our ideas on what to look for under both skills and game sense, we have that as a resource. I don't think this is more about philosophy. We just acknowledge the process does identify a lot of bubble kids, and bubble kids means you're either gonna, if you want the A team, you might get that outcome, or if you don't, you might be viewed as a leader on the B team. And we just encourage all athletes to celebrate what comes of the process. So that's it in a nutshell.